To understand the e-commerce environment, we first need to go back and look at what the internet basically looked like in the mid-1990s. At that point in time, we were primarily focused on the creation of HTML documents, working with static content and static types of links, and basically linking different kinds of documents together. Then we started to incorporate the ability to work with a little bit more dynamic information by working with the concept of Java scripting components and the insertion of Java applets into our HTML documents. Now, all of this information was basically going to be residing on a web server. Different kinds of web servers exist out there from different kinds of vendors, IBM, Apache, from Microsoft, but that was the primary repository for all of our HTML documents and all of our JavaScript and applet components. Now, the customer now was going to be accessing these particular pages using some kind of a web browser. So there's different kinds of vendor web browsers that we can choose from. They all essentially do the same types of things. They allow me to input some type of an address, request some kind of a document, and the address that I'm going to be plugging in is going to be the address of some particular web server someplace. So when we type in a www.business.com type of an address, for example, that's going to be pointing to a particular web server where a particular set of documents is going to be stored. Now, sitting between our particular browser and the web server is going to be a service provider. So all of us have some type of an internet service provider that we basically work through, and they essentially create the link that's going to allow us to generate a request from our particular machines, our web browser based machines, our desktop machines, across and transition those to the web server. Now, sitting underneath the ISP is going to be the internet backbone. So the backbone of the internet is basically going to be comprised of a group of standard sets of servers, and their job is basically to send messages and route them from the initial entry point, which is going to be me sitting on my browser, through the series of servers and eventually getting to the individual web server. So these messages or message packets are going to be our individual requests for different kinds of HTML documents that are basically going to be sent and shifted from one server to the next until it eventually gets to the web server that I happen to be interested in, that has the documents that I'm going to be interested in. Once that request gets to this particular web server, those documents are going to be rounded up. Any additional information like a Java applet that's going to be required to fulfill that particular request is also going to be extracted from the server, and then all this information is going to be routed back to the client browser, where it's then going to be used to display content through either Netscape or Internet Explorer.